a podcast to honor the gods.
This better come with a sacrifice.
Dave X Media.
Legilimens. Snape had struck before Harry was ready, before Harry had even begun to summon any force of resistance. The office swam in front of his eyes and vanished. Image after image was racing through his mind like a flickering film so vivid it blinded him to his surroundings. He was 5, watching Dudley ride a new bicycle, and his heart was bursting with jealousy. He was 9, and Ripper the bulldog was chasing him up a tree, and the Dursleys were laughing below on the lawn. He was sitting under the sorting hat, and it was telling him he would do well in Slytherin. Hermione was lying in the hospital wing, her face covered with thick black hair. 100 Dementors were closing in on him beside the dark lake. Cho Chang was drawing nearer to him under the mistletoe. Welcome to the Restricted Section, a podcast in which a bunch of nerds with potty mouths reread the Harry Potter series for the umpteenth time and discuss the way that the story and its themes have stayed with a generation into adulthood. Thank you for listening. Oh my god, I remembered it. I remembered our intro from last season. If you haven't done the reading, don't worry, we did it for you. Here's what we're talking about this week. Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix, Chapter 24, Occlumency. At the end of winter break, Dumbledore decides that Snape needs to teach Harry Occlumency, which is like closing his brain to other people coming into his brain. When he's back at school, Harry has one nice, albeit extremely awkward moment and finally scores a proper date with Cho Chang. I'm sure that will go great. His first Occlumency lesson with Snape goes, let's just say, not great. So not great that when it's over, Harry has a vision from the V-Man himself, who is apparently extremely happy about something. I don't know, maybe he's finally beat Luigi's Mansion on GameCube or something. You know, for some fucking reason, that final boss battle was so hard for me. I don't think I ever beat that game. Welcome to the Restricted Section, where we will enter your brain and watch your most private and embarrassing moments. Well met and happy Black History Month to all my friends. I'm your host, Christina. I had to write that in the notes because I kept forgetting to say it. My co-host today is the best Legilimens in town, Mary Clay. Say hello to the listeners, Mary Clay.
Hello to the listeners, Mary Clay.
She's reading your mind.
Yes. Yes, right now, at this moment.
And our special guest today is Fawna, host of Cats, Tea, and Witchcraft. Say hello to the listeners, Fawna.
Hello, everyone.
Y'all might remember Fawna from Prisoner Azkaban, Chapter 6, Talons and Tea Leaves, which was back in December 2020, as well as Goblet of Fire, Chapter 23, The Yule Ball, incredible, in January 2022. So saw you last January, Fawna. How was 2022 for you?
2022 was pretty good. I was working from home most of the year, so that was interesting because I didn't work from home really the previous years during the pandemic and everything. So this year was when I got hit with that and everything. So there was a good 7 months throughout the entire year that I was working from home.
Are you someone who likes working from home?
I didn't until my current shift, which is super early in the morning, and now I'm reconsidering my stance on that.
Oh, yeah, because you don't want to be going into the office at 3 a.m. or whatever you said.
Yeah.
Okay, so you start work early, but you can just be snuggled up. You can be doing it your own way. Okay, well,
Yes.
That's good. Cool. Do you anything cool coming up for you or the podcast in 2023?
Kind of just chugging along just because life gets busy and everything. So sometimes there's a week or two in between.
True that.
And then towards the end of last year, I took a couple weeks off just because I'm like, I'm going into season
From
5.
podcasting?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, I need a break. I got to plan, order new books, kind of read up on some new things and kind of give some new ideas and revamp some things.
Hell yeah.
So yeah, hopefully in a couple days, I think I'm going to be doing an episode on Ouija boards.
Ooh, that's fun.
It's more of like a fun episode just because of the the thing behind Ouija boards, and occultists and witches and spiritualists and people in general just like or dislike Ouija boards. So
Yeah, they're cool.
Fun
Very
magic stuff.
interesting.
I personally do not fuck with that shit. I'm like, you stay over there, demons.
That's why I
Over
made
there?
the episode.
Over there, I will not bother you.
In that corner. Over there.
You have one? You have a board?
No, I'll say that demon can stay over there in the corner.
Oh,
If he
okay.
wants chicken nuggies, I can go get and toss. But he can stay in the corner.
Have you recorded that one yet?
Not yet.
Can you talk about why people say Ouija board when it's spelled Ouija board?
I don't know. I've always just heard Ouija more, but that was one
Yeah,
of the
maybe
things.
that's a dumb American thing.
I actually don't know, but Ouija boards were made in Baltimore.
What?
Yeah.
Oh my god. Be right back. Texting my friend Alex.
hey,
who's from Baltimore.
What is Nintendo's way of contacting the dead? A Luigi board.
Oh no.
Mary Clay, that is so fucking funny
That
because
is funny.
you don't wait a fucking second. You don't know this yet, but in my intro that I read, the intro that I read before the episode starts, I was
Yes.
talking about Luigi's Mansion. Literally, I'm like, I literally wrote, blah, blah, blah. Harry has a vision from Voldemort who's apparently extremely happy about something. Maybe he finally beat Luigi's Mansion on GameCube. For some reason, that final boss battle was really hard for me.
Oh, I love that. Oh, that's so
What
good.
the fuck? All right, well, let's see how many
That's
times we
great.
can bring Luigi
We're
up
really connected.
over the course of this. Mary Clay, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. It's always so funny whenever I record for the show because I feel like a lifetime has passed in between
know.
all of my episodes.
Who are you now?
I know. Well, I have a new toe.
Who did you get it
Which
from?
for
you
the
trade?
listeners, so I have congenital bunions on both of my feet, which is when your big toes grow inward, and the corrective surgery has been something that's on my radar since I was in like middle school. But
Not to be weird, but my mom has that too. Fauna, do you remember my mom's weird feet?
No, I know my aunt too had that back in her 20s too. I don't have bunions, but I have really skinny feet. But because of the way my feet are shaped, I still may or may not have to have surgery on my left foot. Just because
my
it's like the
God.
painfulness of just the shape of my foot. I got
Yeah.
that from my dad's side. The bow-legged and the crazy feet. So
Welcome to Foot Talk,
Yeah.
our favorite Wednesday podcast.
unfortunately,
Yeah.
that's going to get cut.
For whoever wants to know, I need to touch up my toenail polish. So,
Oh, you think
my
you need
foot
to
Oh, I
touch
do
up
too.
your toenail polish?
Mine's like 4 manicures ago from the last pedicure.
Oh, y'all, I'm not allowed to. Oh, anyway, I had surgery to correct it. That's where
I got
that
really derailed.
that's where that started. I had this surgery on one of my feet. I don't know, like 2 weeks ago tomorrow. And I'm not allowed to get it wet. So I have not washed my foot, and like these are some really fun details. But my
I don't know, Brooke comes
toenails
on the show now and talks about disgusting
my
aspects of
toenails are
motherhood,
still
so I think we're just
covered
gross.
in the iodine. So they're just like yellow and look aged and disgusting.
That's awful.
It's
You
really
actually don't know that you're slowly becoming a Frankenstein.
it's really
It's a
it's really awful.
monster.
But I did like finally get to see my foot for the first time post surgery at my appointment last week, and yes, it does look bruised and like it was operated on, but at the same time I was like, oh my god, my toe is so straight. It's really like amazing to me that the surgery that they went in to do did the thing that they meant to do. So
Spines, toes, and picture frames are the only things that are better straight.
yes.
Cool. So that wraps up our Wednesday
Our
foot talk.
talk,
Do you guys
yeah,
want to talk
yeah.
about Harry Potter now?
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah, now that the listeners know all about my gross feet.
It's funny, Fauna, because you came on last for a Christmas episode. And this isn't a Christmas episode, but it's the week after a Christmas episode. And you came on in February of last year. January of last year. It's just barely February of this year. It's just funny. It's cyclical.
Yeah, it's like a 12-month rotation that I seem to be on.
It's the wheel of the year. The wheel of the restricted section year.
It literally is. That's so funny.
And also, you know, that vibe of like going back to school after the holiday break. I feel like the month of January and February really encapsulate that
worst time of the year.
You know,
my friend who's a teacher today was talking about how there's no holidays until spring break. 9 straight weeks of teaching 5 days a week. And it's like, why did they do this to us?
My company, we don't have any days off. We had a day off for Martin Luther King Day, and then we don't have another day off until Memorial Day.
Oh, you don't get like presidents or any of that?
No.
Well, Easter's on a Sunday.
Painful.
You can't even use
and like
that.
technically, they give us floating holidays, which are just like two. It's like outside of your designated PTO, but you can only use them like next to or in replacement of a holiday.
When I said we should start talking about
Harry Potter. Snape and then
okay, so it's like that we get the rest of break after Christmas. Creature who has been disappeared appears seeming very cheerful, and everyone's like, oh good, he was here the whole time. But for some reason Harry's being extremely astute, and he's like, there's something funky about that.
This doesn't seem right.
Doesn't seem right.
No, can I ask a question? You can cut this out if we don't want to like spoil what happens in the future, but I can't remember.
Okay. Hey babe, you've been on this show for 3 years. It's going to be our 3-year anniversary next week. We're all spoilers all the time.
Okay.
Remember in episode 1 when we were talking about how Dumbledore dies?
Okay. Well, anyway, I can't remember if. Sorry, you made me laugh.
I'm so sorry. You made yourself laugh with that one.
Okay. I can't remember. This is when Creature, he's like going off and he's like visiting with the Malfoys or something, right? Isn't he? He's like reporting to Lucius or something like that in this time period.
He's the anti-Dobby.
Yeah, he is the anti-Dobby. Oh my god, they're foils.
Rip. Anyway, that was my question.
Do you know what a foil is?
Who, both of us? Me? Yes?
Anyone. I don't know. I said it was foil and I got no reaction.
Yeah. Yes, you're correct. Wow. Woo! Beautiful observation.
I have a degree. I have a degree in English.
So Creature's back. Anyway.
Yeah, Creature's back. Okay, Sirius Black is getting very grumpy because soon everyone will leave him. So he's like, well, I'm just going to ruin it now since it'll be ruined someday.
A lonely, not very old man.
Yeah.
I was doing the math earlier.
He's like 35, right?
Yeah, essentially within our age range.
Which is, I was going to say, 35 is not my age.
But it's the range of like people who we'd be friends with.
It's like Sean.
Yeah, like
or like a couple of my friends' husbands, or like Andrew. Andrew's like 33 or 34. I it's hard to keep track. Maybe he's only 32.
I regularly forget how old I am, so.
Yeah, I've been 30, quote unquote 30 for like 5 years. It's just easier this way. I'll eventually magnetically latch on to 40, but not for quite some time.
When you get close, it's like they teach us in school, at least when we were younger. I don't know what they're teaching math nowadays. You kind of round up or round down depending on what number you're at. So like I've been rounding up to 30 for a bit and I'll be there soon. And then like you said, I probably won't consider myself anywhere past 30 until 35.
Yeah, I'm still 30, exactly. And like it made it easier to turn 30. Like I don't give a shit. I've been 30 for 3 years.
My soul feels 43.
My soul feels, well, you know, I was going to say 22, but...
My knees and back are probably 45.
I've been
I was going to say, I just had
lately.
bunion surgery. I really
Guys,
feel
I started
firmly in my
physical
40s.
therapy this week for my knee.
Yay!
My sad millennial knee.
I've been to physical therapy for my knee and go to chiropractors every month.
Man, I fell off a skateboard one time in college. And
Sirius is probably healthier after being in Azkaban than we are IRL.
Maybe not healthier, but like I feel like his body adapted to like not having enough vitamin D or food or exercise.
His grumpiness is well earned, though.
He's like a cave monster.
Yes, his grumpiness is earned.
He deserves to be grumpy. Okay. Well, okay,
He's just
escalates.
He's depressed, and he's like
Seasonal depression.
Yeah.
He's having post-party depression.
He's
you know?
stuck in the
I
house.
totally
He's not
get it.
supposed to go anywhere.
Yeah. It's like, do you guys ever, you know what I mean? Like when I say you leave like a concert or something and you go outside and it's like your body feels empty because it like doesn't have the music in it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. It's all quiet.
It's the same way I feel sometimes when like all my friends leave my house at once and I just look over and it's just Sean and he's asleep and I'm like,
Meanwhile,
Sean's
Sean's like,
quiet.
finally. Everyone's gone. I have my house back.
Yeah, I'd probably be doing the same thing as well.
So on the last day of winter break, the kids Harry and Ron are playing Wizard's Chess and Hermione and Ginny, right, are watching. Is it just me or like does that sound like the most boring thing in the world to like watch somebody else play chess?
But
They didn't have a Nintendo 64, so
You're right about
that's
that.
true.
They
Yeah.
could have like a
I mean,
book.
What else are they gonna do? Like you're an underage.
Wait, Fawna, I'm gonna count that as a Nintendo reference. We're collecting them. We're on the third.
Oh,
one
that's
now.
right. Yeah.
I did that on purpose.
But like they're underage wizards, so they can't use magic. So it's not like they can, I don't know, do it. And then they don't have like Muggle games. They don't have a Nintendo, you know, they don't have a TV.
They need Chinese checkers because like 8 people can play that and it doesn't take as much of your brain.
Yeah.
Anyway, I hate chess.
The only thing is that it's wizard's chess, so it's a little bit more
That's Wizards
active?
Chinese checkers.
wizard's Chinese check.
Maybe the violence is that entertaining.
Yeah.
Yeah, like gladiators.
Maybe it's more captivating that way.
I get it. Mrs. Weasley comes up and says, Harry, Snape needs to talk to you. And they're like,
Huh?
what
the fuck?
What could you have done on Christmas break to incur the wrath of Snape?
Speaking of grumpy.
Harry goes down to the kitchen where Snape and Sirius are ignoring each other. And like, I actually really, I just enjoy this. Like, I enjoy this dynamic. They both really hate each other. And it's fun to see men be bitchy like this. Like, it's just, I don't know.
And also they're both just like reverting back to their teenage selves.
Yeah, it's like, haven't you developed at all? Regina George, you are such a mean girl.
Yeah, 30-something-year-old men acting like they're still in Hogwarts.
Yeah. Well, and like Snape is such an antagonist. Like obviously Sirius is being like defensive and like bullheaded here, but like Snape is coming out like to like for blood. He's like I bet you love being stuck in this house where you don't have to do anything to help anyone, you fucking coward, pretty much.
Just pushing buttons.
Like why? But so apparently Dumbledore wants Snape to teach Harry the subtle art of occlumency. Is it occlumency or like occlumency?
I say occlumency.
When
What do
I
you think?
read it in my
Occlumency.
head, I say in my head occlumency.
Mhm.
But when I've heard other people in audiobooks and videos, I've heard both. So I'm not sure.
What are some other words that end with mency? Are there others other than, menses, which means period, I think, in like Latin.
That's the only thing that came to my mind.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, well, we'll figure it out. Okay, so listen. We need to protect Harry from external penetration.
Thank you. I'm glad we all noted the use of the word.
Yeah,
External
that
penetration.
was always an awkward one to read. It's like,
But I also believe that Snape would use that because in this, it's a very like clinical term.
mm-hmm.
This is like
True.
when I'm talking to a group of gays about straight sex, you're like, external penetration. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Yeah, so, oh, wait, I'm going to take that not Arthur. I'm going to take that Archer clip, which is a really different show from Arthur.
Phrasing?
I thought you were gonna say like something about Arthur Weasley. Not the
yeah.
show.
Harry's like, this is the worst thing that's ever happened to me in my entire life, including when I thought I murdered Mr. Weasley. And then,
Just to top it, just the cherry is Snape here on Christmas.
like, why on earth would Dumbledore let this happen to him?
Yeah.
Like, he trusts, whether or not Snape, like, whatever side Snape feels like he's on, like, you cannot be trusting him this much with Harry, whom he is, like, notoriously a huge bully of.
I think that's the thing here is it's not necessarily about whether or not we fully trust Snape to do this. It's about whether we trust Snape to be like unbiased towards Harry and give him a fair shot at learning this.
Like,
which
obviously hard no.
Yeah, we see
Wait for the rest of the chapter.
We see later in the like lesson that like he's really not like surprise he's not treating Harry fairly.
Yeah.
Tough
okay,
love?
we'll get there.
I don't know. Like, I feel like in that situation, like, well, he is a bully to him, but he was also bullied. Like, the history of Snape.
But
and
he's an
everything like
adult now. That's
being
the
bullied by a
difference.
peer should not make you bully a child. When you grow up to
That
be
is
an
no,
adult.
that part is true. But when it comes to the actual lesson itself, Harry needs his buttons to be pushed.
What
to
I'm
push
hearing
his
is that
boundaries.
there's an explanation for why Snape acts like this, but I don't see any excuse for why he's acting like this.
That is true. Just in general.
So Sirius warns Snape not to use these lessons as an opportunity to bully Harry. Okay, so that's what we're worried about right now.
Yes.
They get into it a bit. It's escalating. I think this is small of both of them. Like, Sirius, obviously you could win in fisticuffs with Snape. Snape, obviously you could win in a magic fight against Sirius. Like, come, let's not do this.
They're both just puffing up.
Yeah, it's really stupid. And the notion that they let Harry be the one who, like, gets in between them, like, that's really embarrassing for both of them.
Yes.
This two
Like,
depressed old men.
This is absolutely not this child's job.
Mm-mm.
You guys are both supposed to be, like, in caretaker positions for him.
Everything Harry does is not supposed to be Harry's job.
Yeah.
Except for the prefecture. He should have been a prefect. I'm just kidding.
I don't think I'll be on for that chapter.
Which one?
At the very end, after they get back and he has that conversation with Dumbledore. I don't think I'm on for that. So I'll
Bailey's
just
on for that one. She has some trauma to unpack.
I'll slip it in here that like when Dumbledore says like they've had this long, emotional, drawn out conversation, and then it ends with Dumbledore being like, and by the way, I didn't make you prefect because I thought you already had a lot on your plate and I didn't want to add to it.
That would have been really cool if you explained that to me in August,
And
Albus.
that part breaks my heart because it's like one of the signs of like Dumbledore looking at Harry as like a normal child and being like, this child is so burdened already. What can I possibly do to help him? I'm not going to make him prefect. That's like a tangible goal that I can achieve. And whether or not, anyway.
Communication.
Anyway.
Okay, so it's like, it's escalating. Harry doesn't know what to do. He's physically in between these grown men. And then enter the entire Weasley family, including Arthur and Hermione, to break the tension. And Arthur's like, what's up, baby? I'm cured. And then they're like, wait, what's going on here?
Yeah, like, you know, like
funny.
the comedic, you know, timing, how this would play out, like in a TV show or something where like,
Yeah.
Snape and
It's
you know
sitcom-y.
Snape probably is like grabbing Sirius's like shirt and pulling him closer, and Sirius is about to punch him in the face and his hand is raised and Harry's like in between him, and then everyone stops and
It's
they
like a
all
freeze frame.
exactly and
Record
then
scratch.
and then Snape's like, I'll see you on Monday, Potter.
And then he's like, I am
leaves.
suddenly so outnumbered. Okay, the next thing that happens is, Mary Clay, because I'm really bad at like remembering. Can you sing "Gotta Get Back to Hogwarts"? Just that line from a Harry Potter musical.
Well, that's not what happens next.
Yeah, it is.
They have
gotta get back
they
to
have a
Hogwarts.
dinner and talk about stuff, and they.
Okay.
I'll sing it. I gotta get back to Hogwarts.
Thank you.
I gotta
Thank you.
get back to school.
Did anything noteworthy happen at that dinner? Because I'll be frank, I didn't write it down.
I mean, they have one last dinner, and I just think it's just because Sirius is one of my favorite characters, and this is the last time we see him.
The last time we hang out with him, oh my God, Mary Clay, how could you? How dare you tell me that right to my face, that thing that I know that's super
It's
true.
the last time we are, hanging out with him. And it notes that, like, Harry wants to have a conversation with him and be like, I know all those things that Snape said really got to you. And I know that you're thinking the worst things about yourself right now, but I want to let you know that none of us think that. And, like, you are so brave and I love you and don't listen.
I've said this about Harry before. He's just like, oh, I wish I could do this helpful thing, but I just can't.
Yeah.
I just can't do it. Like, I wish I could give the Weasleys all my money because I have a small fortune for no reason, but they'd say no probably if I asked. So I can't do anything to help them. It's like, bro.
And it's kind of framed in a way of like, he tried to get the opportunity, but then like,
it's like you're in control of your destiny. Like, take him aside.
Was sitting over here, and then when he went to talk to them, that it's like if you wanted to say this to him, you really could have said it to him. And it's also awkward teenage boy Harry, who is like not. His brain is like not a steel trap as we see later on. You know what I mean? Like
literally.
Anyway.
Very low security in that noggin. Okay, can you sing Gotta Get Back to Hogwarts now?
I gotta get back to Hogwarts.
Thank you. Okay, good.
Okay, I didn't know how much you wanted.
I just like can't, like, I have this problem where my brain is not a steel trap, and I can't remember like my favorite quotes from my favorite shows and movies. I can't remember cute little tunes like that. Like, I got nothing. Sean quotes Bob's Burgers to me all day long, and I so rarely know what he's doing. There's 13 seasons of that show, and I've got my like 3 go-to jokes.
13 seasons? Oh my!
Yeah, they just got renewed for 14
2
and 15,
more, yeah.
baby. Woo! Bob's Burgers. That's my plug today. That's my plug every day. If I could marry Bob's Burgers, I would.
It's just because you and Sean are Bob and Linda. It's
I've only had half of 4 bottles of wine.
So prior to the dinner, didn't Snape tell him, don't tell anybody, tell them you're having remedial potions? And then he immediately goes and tells his friends?
Well, those are his friends.
Yeah,
it's like if you come to me with a secret, I'll keep your secret, but I'm telling Sean.
I think he doesn't want it getting out to like wider audiences so that it doesn't get to Umbridge, because
Sean,
Umbridge.
I said Sean, but I meant to say Harry. Harry needs someone to talk to about all these traumatic things that keep happening to him. Like, tell your friends.
It's funny how people do that. It's like, oh, like you said, you're going to tell your partner. Oh, your partner knows everything.
Yeah.
And also,
he's not going to repeat it to anyone.
In like the previous chapter, or maybe 2 chapters ago, Harry just had, like we just had kind of like an after school special moment about like not keeping your feelings all bottled up, because he isolates himself after the attack, and he thinks that, and he doesn't tell anyone what's going on. And then when he finally does, Jenny's like, you're an idiot. Like, I've been possessed by Voldemort. Like, if you had just talked about this, we could have all, had a fun time together.
Yeah.
Instead, you're being sulky and depressed.
Lots
okay, anyway.
Okay, it's like seasonal depression. Like, they have the same seasonal depression as us.
The next morning, they head off to, they got to get back to Hogwarts.
Gotta get back to, I still
gotta get back to school.
So they take the night bus, which is nonsense.
No, sorry, I'm
me.
stopping you again, because we have another important moment.
Yeah.
Sirius.
Okay, this is important. I mean, it's not important. It's
okay, well, it's
kind
important
of not
to me.
important.
It's important to me. Fawna, I'm so glad you came on to be a guest, where I'm just screaming instead. So, welcome.
Feel free to butt in with your own screams at
Interrupt,
any time.
yell over me. Okay. They're all like, saying their goodbyes, getting ready to leave. And Harry's looking over at Sirius, and he's thinking like, okay, this is my last chance to say these things to him. And it says something about, there's a note that like Harry didn't know why, but he just felt like this parting was like really momentous. And
Yeah, I remember reading that and going, oh, foreshadowing.
it's being
Sometimes
like
you just know stuff like that. You know what I mean?
he had a bad feeling about this parting. He did not know when they would next see each other and felt that it was incumbent upon him to say something to Sirius to stop him doing anything stupid.
But then he just can't figure out how to do
Yeah,
that.
because again, he not a
Harry,
smart
do
boy.
anything.
Not an emotionally smart boy, you know?
You're in control of your own destiny. Sorry.
So then, like, Sirius and Harry do, like, an awkward, like, one-arm hug. And Sirius gives him something and says, this will help you if Snape starts giving you a hard time. And Harry tucks it away and is like, I'm not even going to open it because I don't even want to tempt him into doing something that could, like, blow his cover or get him caught. And then they go on the night bus. And that's the last time that Harry will hug Sirius. Hang on. Maybe it's good. I'm not going to... I think I'm coming on for the owl chapter. And then I think that's my last chapter in the book. So it's probably good that I'm not coming in for the emotional damage.
I always put you on the movie episodes, though.
Yeah.
Because you're funny at the impressions.
There is an impression in the Occlumency lesson that I'll do when we get to that.
Okay, cool. So, Lupin and Tonks take them along on the night bus. I don't know, man. Why not take the Hogwarts Express? Because that runs on breaks and they're already in London.
I was confused about, I'd never once thought, oh yeah, how do the kids get from Hogwarts to their homes over Christmas break? Because them using the night bus seems to imply that the Hogwarts Express isn't running.
But like it does.
It does during.
Yeah.
I mean,
It just
that's the
does.
thing. We've never seen Harry go home
Yeah.
during the Christmas break until now, so we don't know how the kids get home for Christmas.
The only thing I can think is that Ernie, the driver of the car, is secretly in the order.
Of the,
It's not gonna be
I like
Stan
that.
Shumpike. Ernie, though, yeah, he's an informant. He hears
Or he's
everything
just on the
because he's in
payroll.
transportation.
Oh, he probably does hear or see some sketchy people.
Ooh,
Yeah.
I like that theory, Christina.
Oh, good headcanon. Bink. That's my gold star noise for doing a headcanon.
Also, it's a magic bus run by wizards. Can they not figure out how to, like, permanently stick the chairs to the floor?
Or like give it a suspension like regular cars have?
Or like do anything to make
Not
the
everything
inside.
they do makes logical sense.
Oh my god, you said that a little wrong. It's nothing they do makes any logical sense.
I'm not the English major.
They're cuckoo bananas.
Yeah.
So they do get back to Hogwarts despite the fact that they take the night bus and there's a witch vomiting publicly, which is my greatest nightmare. To see someone else
terrible.
vomit publicly or for me to publicly vomit. So embarrassing.
It is.
Would be, and just imagine the smell on that dusty bus.
Ugh. Ugh.
Oh,
Yeah,
just
pretty awful.
Stan's
gross.
not cleaning it thoroughly, for sure.
And then even when they get dropped off, they still have to walk with all of their stuff from Hogsmeade to Hogwarts. And like, I don't know about you guys. I know this isn't actually how it's laid out, but I'm just imagining Hogwarts is like up on a hill and then there's like a gate and it's just like a long winding driveway.
It's like all the way up. Wait, I actually have sorry to go backwards, but I do have like one question about the night bus. Do the driver, is he Ern or Ernie? It doesn't
I think
matter.
it's both. Ernie.
Do Ernie and Stan like do they ever sleep? The
I don't
bus
know.
seems to be always running and it seems like it's just the two of them.
I don't know, magic.
Maybe
Do they live on the bus
I'm sure
together?
maybe there are probably other night bus workers. They just happen to always catch these two.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
There's
I'll
no
allow it.
night bus union to give them dedicated shifts and breaks.
I see.
You know.
I see. Oh, maybe Stan has a time turner so that he can always be awake. Go to the past to sleep while you were awake.
We need to move on because I can feel myself my brain going down that rabbit hole of like, how does that work? That doesn't work.
Okay, so back at Hogwarts, guess what? Harry is anxious. That's surprising. He's anxious about Occlumency. He's feeling a little overwhelmed because like all of the DA members come up to him like all the time asking when their next meeting's gonna be.
Like, I don't
and he's
fucking
like,
know. We just got here.
Yeah, like give me a day. He's like, I literally have remedial potions. Then Cho Chang comes up to him. Oh my god, it's Cho Chang.
Him being a typical teenage boy again and not knowing what to say or do
I
at the correct
don't
moment.
usually when people on this show, people say it a lot. He's just a teenage boy. And usually I'm like, come on, it's not that he's a boy, it's that he's a teenager. Like nothing, he has nothing developed. But in moments like this, I'm like, this is a dude behavior. Like this is dude behavior to just be like beyond
the
oblivious.
phrase, then something clunked into place. And that, just the use of the word clunk.
Okay, wait. Let's do it. We need to do it. Okay, Cho comes up to Harry. Hermione takes Ron away immediately. She's like, you actually don't get the opportunity to say even one word in this scene, Ron, so we're out of here.
Ron is also, I feel like in that moment, kind of being a teenage boy and being like, I don't get it. Why are we leaving? Where are we going,
dumb.
Hermione? Like,
he has the emotional range of a teaspoon. Cho's like, oh, hey, so like the next Hogsmeade trip is on Valentine's Day. And he's like, cool information you're providing me.
He's like, oh, cool. Good to know. Anyway.
He's like, why on earth is she just saying this to me? There's some people who really are not seeking meaning when you speak to them. And like, sometimes they're differently abled. Sometimes they're just like really literal. Like some people are not looking for meaning beyond exactly what you're saying. And that's just something you need to know about people out in the world, because this is like a shocking to me firsthand example of what that's like. It's like, what? You extrapolated zero meaning from the context of Cho randomly approaching you to talk about Valentine's Day. She is like trying to get him to ask her out on a date, but then she like panics and like runs away.
And he panics too. And he's like, oh, crap.
That's when something clunks into place.
Yeah, something just because like it's also just extra funny because that phrase is in like this interaction of him like not picking up on like the subtleties of this conversation and like his brain working so slowly is in the Occlumency chapter. Yeah. And so it's just like really setting us up to be like, yeah, like I said, Harry's mind is not a steel trap.
I feel like, do y'all ever, like, I feel like I understand Harry in these couple days. Like, do y'all ever just like do too many things, too many days in a row, and your brain just like, you can tell it's not firing the way it usually does?
5,000%. Yeah.
Like
100%.
Harry's just like, wow, I need to sleep for 18 hours to recover from
That was me
this.
last night.
Sometimes you just gotta. Sometimes you're like, even me, I'm one of the most energetic people I know on earth. But every once in a while, once every couple of months, I need to spend an entire day on the couch resetting.
Yeah, burnout is real.
It's real. Okay, so Harry is like, oh my God, wait, what if she brought up Valentine's Day to me because that's relevant information?
It's not like they made out or anything.
Oh my God.
That is true. This is their first interaction after they've kissed.
It's like, it's hard for me. I've come so far from the day that I ever worried about anyone's perception of anything that I ever did that like if I was into Cho and I saw her again the first time after we made out, I'd be like, well, it's my job to make my intentions clear. And I'd walk up and be like, hey, oh my God, it's great to see you. You know, wink. We should do something. You know what I mean? It's like, take control of any moment for any amount of time, please.
Yes, but unfortunately, Harry's been a bit preoccupied with some other things. Mm-hmm. So Cho is like literally like the last thing on his mind. Yeah.
I want to know if you were Harry. No, if Harry was you. So like you with your brain, like okay. Like, what would you think that Cho was asking you to do in this? Like, what are you, based on the information she's provided, what are you picturing that day's going to look like? Fawna.
For like what Valentine's Day would be?
Yeah. Yeah. What are you, like, she's like, it's in Hogsmeade, want to do it. Like, what are you imagining?
I would say maybe they could check out some shops or maybe just go get some food. Like, I could only imagine there's so much they can do. Like, Harry has essentially unlimited money.
It's true.
But for Cho, like, I think she
girls
would
like
just
that.
more want the quality time. Especially after not seeing each other winter break. Harry is awkward anyway. This back and forth with them has been over like a 2-year period and everything. So this is like a build up to like their first
it's hard to tell how long
date.
they were flirting because they were playing Quidditch against each other, and those are like the fine lines.
Mm-hmm.
Mary Clay, what do you think? What would you expect of this date based on what Cho has said to you today?
I mean, it just says, like, do you want to go to Hogsmeade together? So, honestly, I would probably think, like, oh, we'll just go and, like, instead of me doing stuff in Hogsmeade with Ron, I'll do it with Cho. And, like, we'll
like
just
getting
hang
food
out.
and shopping, right? And, like,
yeah,
walking
exactly.
around.
Like, we'll go to
That's what
Zonko's. We'll get some candy.
That's what I think, too. That's what I would expect if I were Harry. And I think that before their nightmare date at Madame Puttyfoot's, which I'm extremely excited about,
I remember this.
That's next week.
Yeah, and it's coming up.
Wait, is it next week or next
I'm pretty sure it's next week.
Is it next week or next week?
It
is next week.
The illustration for the next chapter is them on the date.
So I think they do walk around to a couple shops, but then I think she like lures him into Madame Puttyfoot's kind of.
Oh,
like, he
super
does not know-
casual. Let's just pop in here. And she has like a table reserved.
Do you think she like is on a mission here? Do you think she's like, I'm gonna lure him into this like extremely romantic situation and make him fall in love with me? Do you think she's like doing that on like
That wouldn't be uncommon for teenage girls because they know boys are oblivious.
Yeah, I just feel like there's a miscommunication of expectations here.
She could buy herself flowers, but she wants Harry to do it.
Yeah.
She could buy herself flowers.
I think she's just, I mean, in the same sense that Harry's being like a teenage boy and being very slow on the uptake for these things, she's like the opposite. And she's
given a little bit of a push.
She also, like, let's remember, she dated Cedric before this. So she knows.
I can imagine what that standard is from Cedric.
Cedric does things without being asked. Yeah, Cedric does things without being prompted.
And, like,
anything.
He was probably super romantic. Like, she's already had the experience of, like, having a boyfriend and, like, a boyfriend who does, like, they do romantic things together. Whereas Harry's never done any of that. So he doesn't know that he should be doing those kinds of things.
Yeah, he doesn't know that, like, for the first couple dates, even if it's, like, a weird energy to you, you have to commit to it if you like her. Mm-hmm. And then you can kind of figure it out after you get her to like you, you know?
Yes.
Anyway, I just feel like this scene is the beginning of my favorite chapter. And I'm so excited. Our friend Josh from Super Scary is coming back onto the show because I needed someone who would, like, squee with me about it. You feel me?
I love that. That'll be great.
It's going to be very fun. Okay, so he makes it happen. He's like, wait, Joe, did you want to go with me? I just had an original idea. Did you want to go to Hogsmeade with me?
Oh, here's an idea. Yes. What? Why don't we go to Hogsmeade
She's
together?
already been planting the seeds.
Yes. Yeah.
At y'all's school, did people do fucking promposals?
They did the carnations for Valentine's Day, which I never got.
Oh, do you guys want a fun story about high school me? Valentine's Day, we had a guys a cappella group and a girls a cappella group in choir.
This is out to a strong start. This is a really good start.
And for Valentine's Day, you could buy someone a song. And the a cappella group would go around during like lunch period and deliver the songs to people in your classroom. And one day during my fourth period, my lunch, period class, there's a little knock on the door and the boys a cappella group comes in and they're like, we have a song for Mary Clay. And I was in 10th grade. I had not had like any kind of a boyfriend, or honestly at that point, probably a boy had not even looked at me. And I was like, oh my God, who is my secret admirer? And so then they like look down at the paper that has like the message on it that they're supposed to hand to the person. And then they go, oh, this is in room 209 for a Mary Kate. Sorry. And then they leave.
Oh, I have a similar story, actually. There's this girl in my high school named Christina Canoe, Kanu.
I think I've heard of Christina Canoe.
She used to make honor roll, and people would call me and congratulate me for making honor roll, and I would have to tell them that that's not me, and I definitely didn't make honor roll.
Oh, man.
I remember my friend Shelby's mom would always call, and I'm like, you gotta stop.
Well, my in real life name is very common, and there was always plenty of them. So,
So. Yeah, I'm sure. I know several.
Last name wasn't a problem, but first name was.
Okay, so guess what? Now that Harry's feeling nice and vulnerable with his feelings, it's time for Occlumency.
You can say it however you want to say it. If there's anything
I don't know how, though.
If there's anything I've learned
Occlumency.
from hosting a Tolkien podcast, just say whatever you want. Pronounce
it's
it.
Tolkien.
Again.
Sorry, somebody had to.
Again, what? I don't care. Tolkien.
Okay, so Snape is like, sit down, bitch. It's time for my monologue about Occlumency.
You have to call me sir or professor.
Oh my god.
As
I
if
get
Harry thought it was going to be casual.
Yeah,
He
like,
acted like all high on his
Yeah.
horse for no reason, like usual.
Yeah.
it's the kind, like, just that it's like, obviously there are multiple red flags about this situation, but like, this is the first red flag to be like, you kind of be like, okay, well, maybe, Snape understands that what he's been tasked to do is really important. He needs to handle this matter carefully. He and Sirius had this intense conversation, and Sirius was like, if you like fucking pull anything, I'll come cut a bitch. Like, don't you, doubt that I'll completely like come out of hiding and fuck you up. And it's like, maybe Snape is going to be cool about this. We're all on the same side. We have the same goal. And then he says, like, I'm still your professor. Call me sir. And it's like, well, never mind. This is going to suck.
When were you
This is
not
dumb.
going to be my professor? Like, when did this change? They didn't become friends over Christmas break.
Yeah.
That's not why you came over to my house.
Yeah. So Snape is trying to explain Occlumency. I mean, he's not really trying to explain it, but he's just saying things about it. Harry is not getting it. He's not theoretically getting it, which
I'm not getting it, Like,
yeah,
in
like
all the years since I've like first watched and read this book, I feel like he never explains like, what are you supposed to do? Like, what, like, tell me step one, give me tangible action items to do.
Yeah,
and
he really didn't do that. He was like, here we go, 1, 2, 3, figure it out.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
like, we just learn why they're doing this.
Yeah.
And then he's like, okay, now you know everything there is to know. Let's do this.
Yeah. It's fucked. I feel like Snape is making every choice to make this harder for Harry.
Yes. Absolutely.
So Snape is like explaining that legitimacy is the ability not to read minds, right? Like that's
Penetrate.
He made
the
that
mind.
very clear. It wasn't reading minds.
he says you have no subtlety, Potter. Is Fawna, is like legitimacy a concept in like actual witchcraft?
Ooh,
Or is
yeah.
that because last time we had you on, I mean, originally we had you on to talk about divination, because that is a real magic thing.
I feel like not in the sense of what this is, but if you pay attention to signs and details, and it goes in with how our version of what occlumency would be, it kind of does. And the way he was explaining it, he's like, it's like, you don't like read the minds. And I kind of understood that what he was saying. It's like you're pulling pieces together and you still have to interpret it based on what you get. And you can essentially do that like just walking into a room or knowing what someone says or what they don't say gives you your answers, and you know exactly what they're thinking based on
It's just
subtle
like,
things.
It's like noticing patterns.
Yeah,
right?
it literally is like a
Yeah.
pattern thing. And that's what they would do just like actually in the mind, but we would have to do that externally. So it's just like what essentially criminal investigators would do. Like, you can't read someone's mind, especially when they're lying to you. So essentially it's reading the details, reading the room.
Mm-hmm. Cool. That's cool. So then occlumency, I feel like it's like meditation. It's like clear your mind. And I kind of relate to Harry in this chapter because like I'm just like not a meditator. Like I meditate in my own ways, you know, like doing puzzles and
that
stuff.
could be
like
something.
I can't just, if someone's like clear your
That's
mind, I'm
hard.
like, what did you just say to me? Like, how
That
the
is
hell am I supposed
hard.
to do that?
I think it's more of creating a boundary, because turning off your brain is hard if you do or don't have something that makes it easier or harder. Because I find meditation very hard, but there are like other ways to like, as someone with anxiety and someone who has to take medication for it and everything. And even though I've like witchcraft and stuff, it doesn't solve the problems the same way people would hope it would. So like, essentially our version of what this would be is something that would be called grounding and centering. It's like the centering part would be the like kind of focusing, not necessarily clearing your mind, but focusing, or like pulling yourself into maybe a singular thought or a singular mindset, or just kind of in a path. And then the idea of protecting your energy, protecting your mind, working on the not being an empath, or the not letting other people affect you, essentially. It's just like being careful of your energy, what you give out and what you receive. And it's hard. It is really hard work. So what Harry's doing is a good representation of how it is hard to just turn off your emotions, to just not receive what you're getting.
So what I'm getting is that, Fawna, you should be the one guiding Harry through this, because that was like a very like nice explanation. It's like, okay, here's some ways that we can like actually execute
What
this.
Snape should have done.
I was actually going to say, how if I was like trying to teach Harry this, and I was like, you know, trying to be a good person and actually like teach a child something and not, you know, like set him up for failure and then like make fun of him for failing at something that I have like not really helped him to understand. Like, how do you explain it in like Harry's terms, you know? Yeah. And what I would do is I would be like, okay, Harry, what's going through your thoughts, your mind when you're playing Quidditch? You're in a Quidditch match. And I would frame it as like, what are you thinking when you are looking for the snitch and you are going for the golden snitch? And like, frame it
grounding, centering, and then shielding yourself from external energies. But like Snape, we know he teases him and is a bully between the history of the families and just everything like that. He like, I could see it as like a tough love sort of thing. He's like, this is going to be hard, so I'm going to make it hard for you, because if I wasn't helping you with this, it would suck and it would be hard. So, but he could have, like, if he was a decent person, he could have at least said, hey, this is going to be hard. I'm not going to go easy on you, but X, Y, Z.
Yeah.
I wonder if somebody has ever written a fanfic that's just what Snape should have done. You know what I mean?
Or what a Harry should have done.
Yeah, there are a lot. Many of our
Or
main
what
characters in the
Dumbledore
series
should
are
have
so
done.
disappointing. Exactly. Okay, so Snape is still explaining, guys. He's explaining that eye contact is usually required for, my notes say Legos. That's an autocorrect. Legilimens. Come on. And the protection of Hogwarts, like, should protect him. That's what he's saying. He's like, in theory, you shouldn't be able to have your brain externally penetrated. But it's like, he did, though. So, like, why are you even, this isn't even relevant information. Like, that happened to him. So...
Well, did he, or was Harry going into the situation? Not Voldemort into him.
Interesting.
Because Harry
it goes
was...
both ways.
Yeah, it was both ways. It was Harry was experiencing Voldemort through Nagini. That's how you pronounce her name, right?
Yes.
Yeah. No, it's Nagina.
Nagina.
Whatever her name is. I rarely say that. It's like one I only just read.
Nagini.
Yeah, so like... He was unintentionally through dreams going through it. But at the same time, Voldemort was probably made aware, though, which is why this became so urgent.
Okay. Yeah. Because, like, the snake thing was almost like a test, you know? Like, trying to test the connection. And it's like, now he's going to weaponize it because he knows. So Snape is like, stand up and take out your wand, bitch. I'm going to break into your mind and try to fuck with you. So fuck you.
I raised my hand like I was in class.
Okay.
Because this is a very important piece of dialogue, like in hindsight, knowing what we know about Snape. The Dark Lord, for instance, almost always knows when someone is lying to him. Only those skilled at occlumency are able to shut down those feelings and memories that contradict the lie, and so utter falsehoods in his presence without detection.
Nice.
And that's like...
He's like confessing.
About him. He's like, this is how I'm able to lie straight to the face of Voldemort, because I'm really good at this.
That's cool. Snape is an interesting character. I will never say that he is a good guy or even remotely redeemed, but he's very interesting. He has a lot of interesting, cool qualities. He could have been a really cool redeemed character, but he's a cool evil villain now.
Yeah, abuse children instead.
Yeah, that's the choice you make that you can't come back from.
Yeah.
Okay, so Harry is like being penetrated by Snape. Like, I'm sorry, they phrased it that way.
They really did, and it was said multiple times. Just like, could there have been a better way?
Yeah, stop saying penetrate. We're talking about
what's a word?
A teacher-student relationship.
Okay, turning this around, what other word would you guys use to describe the penetration of the mind?
I'm literally going to look up.
Maybe like invade or like take over or like get into. Like there's
okay,
don't
but
challenge
get
me
into
to a thesaurus fight.
You're an editor, Christina.
He was worried that Snape was going to get into his brain. That makes perfect sense.
Yes,
So-
it makes sense, but it doesn't sound
Similar words or
It depends
synonyms.
how many times you say it though. Okay, go Fawna.
Synonyms is pierce, puncture, make a hole in, perforate, stab, prick,
Perforate.
probe, spike,
Perforate's better.
stick, impale, transfix,
Impale.
lance.
Impale me, Daddy Snape.
Not a lot of them are better
So, yeah, it's
besides
not-
like
maybe-
invade or take
Invade
over.
feels good to me.
Yeah.
Invade me, Daddy.
uh,
I'm speaking as me, not as like Harry in this
no, I
scene.
know, but like I still don't like that.
Yeah.
Bring those jeans over here. Snape wears
Uh,
jeans is canon to this podcast.
okay.
Anyway, okay, so it's like, let's go see what's in Harry's brain. It's like spiraling through embarrassing moments. and then
Childhood trauma.
Yeah, childhood trauma. And then it lands on his kiss, moments before his kiss with Cho. And Harry's like, no. And he's like, he comes to and he's like on the floor and he accidentally hexed Snape. And Snape seems kind of impressed. He's like, did you mean to do that?
Cool
you totally
beans.
got me, dude.
Okay. It's like, that's maybe not what I meant for you to do. I haven't explained what I mean for you to do.
Harry didn't even know he did it, but when you're in like pain
Yeah.
and an uncomfortable situation, you're gonna lash out.
Yeah.
But yeah, that goes back and forth for quite a while of Harry falling to his knees or something happening.
Man, it's the Harry fall count yet again.
Yes.
One of the drunkest I've ever been in podcast land. The things I do for this podcast, which I've been pretty drunk for a lot of these recordings. Oh my God, do you remember the one? It was like episode 2 or something with the dark and stormies. Anyway, one of the drunkest I ever got was when we were drinking every time Harry Potter fell down in the Prisoner of Azkaban movie. I was shipping. I was drinking red wine that night and I was blasted.
I was gonna say, can we
does that mean drunk?
I feel like we're not gonna. There might not be as much in the 5th movie, but I'm inviting
come up with
myself
everything.
over to your house to do that.
Oh yeah, here I'll tell everyone now. Hey everyone, we're doing a live watch of that.
I thought you were gonna say, "Hey everyone, come to my house." And
No, well, you know who you are who can come to my house. Matt, you coming? 7 p.m. on Friday, March 12th, Order of the Phoenix watch along. So whoever wants to participate in that, all you have to do is sign up for our Patreon for $1 a month. You can have access to our Discord and do our watch alongs with us. Yeah, they go back and forth at length. Like, it's not... Snape is, like, refusing to actually train Harry in actionable steps. And Harry's like, so come at me, bro. Like, here is
and he
all
also
my heart.
he
on
also
my
asked.
sleeve.
He's like, one of the memories was Harry being chased by one of Aunt Marge's dogs, and Snape is like, "Who was the dog?" And I'm like, "You're at like you're
That's so funny.
like." gaining information to like taunt this child about these embarrassing memories.
It's just in the middle of potions class, like, well, at least your aunt's dog makes better potions than you.
Yeah, or something. Yeah.
As a grown adult who was also bullied as a child and then in result is bullying children.
Yeah, it's like he never grew up. He's like, I'm the bully now.
A lot of them didn't, it sounds like.
Yeah, that's true. Well, because a lot of them died. Thanks,
Yes.
Fawna.
And I always say,
I was going to say serious, puffing up.
but in his defense, he was in prison having his soul sucked out of him.
Right.
Yeah, so
For
he has a little more of an
13 years.
excuse. Yeah.
That's pretty, like, honestly, I would say
I did my wedding.
12 years of it.
Come on.
Honestly, in hindsight, what Sirius went through, I think he's doing pretty good.
I think he's doing pretty good.
You know what? Like,
But I also feel like everyone in Sirius's life is failing him, because if my friend just got out of jail and was like,
it's
right
because-
before he went into jail, all his friends died. Like, I would be with him all the time. Hey, Lupin, where are you? Why aren't you here with him?
I really don't get why. Oh, that reminds me. I think it was either on TikTok or Tumblr, one of the T's, an edit of a scene from Order of the Phoenix where Lupin is explaining stuff and he's saying, like, you know, the last time we lost almost everything dear to us, and the edit was like Lupin like barely glances over to Sirius and everyone was like, Wolfstar's canon.
I will look for every opportunity to confirm that Wolfstar is canon.
But you're so right. Like, where was back to Occlumency.
Even if it's just for friends, that's the thing. Sometimes you get let down by people, and it's like, this didn't even have to be a romantic thing. It could have just been a friendship thing.
Also, like, if Grimmauld Place is the Order headquarters, like, why is Molly Weasley? She doesn't have a job.
They hate each other.
Why can't her job not be to like mother
Be
him?
the den mother.
Yeah, exactly.
Mother him.
Exactly. Like, where
She needs a break. Well, does she? I don't know. She has to go home and look natural, maybe. Act natural. Okay. So eventually Harry's memories that Snape is penetrating lead him to his hallway dream. You know the one. You know the fucking hallway dream.
we know the hallway.
And then Snape lifts the spell without Harry having to fight it off, and he's like, what the fuck was that? And Harry's like, I just realized that in my dream last night, you were totally having sex with Dumbledore, and now I feel weird being in the same room as you.
Finally, Harry's brain is connecting for like a second.
Yeah, he's
on
like,
his own.
And like, good for him. Well, or did Snape help him get there?
I feel like in this moment, Snape is like, oh shit, he knows. Like, in one way or another, like because like Snape being a member of the Order would know what that door is too, you know?
Well, and not to be this way. Like, it doesn't matter that Snape lies, but he literally says, like, there's nothing in there that has anything to do with you. And it's like, that's a lie.
It did, because, Harry does, he asked, he's like, what's the Department of Mysteries? And it did kind of like all of a sudden.
I don't know, it's a mystery.
Yeah, it's a mystery.
History
It all of a
is
sudden
mysteries.
hit me how funny it is that there's just a department of the government that's like, we don't know.
I mean,
that's we don't know what to do with this thing.
Bro,
so
that's like the CIA in America.
We're going to put it in, but it's not even like, but like the CIA, they're at least like trying to solve things and put, get to the root of stuff.
Or are they just
theoretically,
hoarding things?
I don't know. I'm not in the CIA, Christina.
That's the mystery.
I don't. That's the mystery. I think there's a lot going on that we don't know about.
But like the Department of Mysteries, all the stuff, like, like we see later on, all the stuff is just like, we don't know what to do with this thing, so we're putting it in here.
Yeah, it needs to be like
Put all
even
this
better
dangerous
safeguarded.
shit in one room.
All out of sight, out of mind, honestly.
It needs all this shit in the Department of Mysteries needs to be as safeguarded as like Green Gods. Like, if it's all this dangerous, come on.
The fact that it's just like a door. It's not like a vault.
Well, he doesn't know.
It's just a door.
At least Gringotts had more security.
It's true.
Yeah.
So finally, the session is over. Jesus fucking Christ. Thank the Lord. I can thank the Lord and take the Lord's name in vain in the same breath because it's meaningless to me. Harry finds Ron and Hermione in the library. He tells them about the hallway thing. Hermione's like, Sturgis Podmore. Remember that guy?
What? No, I truly don't. I was like, I'm sure he got killed or something.
There was a big to-do because he got arrested for trying to get through a door at the Ministry of Magic. And so what we're guessing happened is that, like, people have been guarding this door. Arthur Weasley was guarding this door when he got attacked by the snake. Sturgis Podmore was probably guarding the door, and, like, maybe somebody got him with the old Imperious one, too.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so that's why he was trying to get through the door, but he, like, didn't know how, so he got arrested. Because he was trying to go, like, above his security clearance or whatever.
Yeah, it's the kind of thing where it's like, if Voldemort is going to possess someone to get into the Department of Mysteries, it's like it needs to be the right person who, like, it wouldn't be suspicious if this person was trying to go there. Yeah.
So they're like, this is overstimulation. They were like, let's go back to the common room. Oh, wow. That's overstimulation. No, I think in the library, they're like, we'll be more comfortable in the common room. Common room, there's a lot going on. Fred and George are demonstrating headless hats. It's what it sounds like.
It, like, makes the head disappear.
Yeah. That's what I interpret. Yeah. And, like, Hermione even says, like, admits, she's like, that's actually really fucking smart. Like, that's really cool.
She's
like how did
clever.
they figure that out? Like, it's obvious, it's like an invisibility charm, but, like, how did they figure out how to, stop
that
it?
range.
Yeah. And she, like, actually is, like, kind of coming around and being like, wow, they're actually really cool. Like, they're really smart.
They're not dumb. They just use it in
Dumb
their
ways.
Weasley ways. Yeah.
Yeah. So Harry just goes up to bed, and
because he's not feeling good.
He just does not feel good. He's like, I
I'd
can't
be
do
exhausted too.
He's like, I have a headache. My knees hurt because I keep falling over.
Well,
From all that external penetration.
Yeah,
so
wouldn't
much
you be
penetration.
sore?
Makes your knees weak. And, like, just also so much brain damage.
So, if someone's brain is a muscle and something like this, would it, like, cause damage if it happened too many times? Or would it be, like, a concussion to where, like, your brain takes damage and after so much it just, like, fries it? Just like other spells, it could, like, permanently damage you?
Maybe. I'm kind of, I mean, when you said, like, oh, well, the brain's a muscle, I'm kind of thinking about it in terms of, like, oh, it's like when you finish a workout.
Yeah.
And, your legs feel sore, but you haven't, like, broken your leg.
But the brain is very different, though.
Brain is different.
But I do
like
think
concussions, you knock it around a couple times, you bruise it, and then you have permanent damage.
Yeah,
but I do think Snape, especially because it's Snape doing this, I think they easily could, like, go too far or do too much one day or one lesson, and then, like, he does, like, end up with a concussion or something.
Fry a couple too many synapses in there.
There's just so many sex jokes in this chapter. It's like it's really not our fault. We have a strong no sex jokes about minors policy on this podcast, but the jokes write themselves.
Also, I forgot to mention when Snape and Sirius are, like, fighting, it says it used the phrase, like, Sirius whipped his out as well in regards to their wands. But
Measuring contest.
But, like, when has anyone ever used the phrase, like, whip it out and it's not been a dick? You know what I mean?
Dick.
Like,
yeah, it's always the dick.
It's in reference to a dick, I would say.
At
like,
least
90%
it was
of the
in
time.
reference to an adult pulling out his wand.
Yes. But, like, she's using the, like, penetration.
Well, and she also says the word ejaculated twice for just regular dialogue. So it's not like she's actively avoiding innuendos.
I feel like she also always uses ejaculate in reference to when either Ron or Harry are speaking. And, like,
it's Ron once and Horace Slughorn once. Straight up.
Okay, never mind.
Sorry, I've memorized all the ejaculations in this series. So, Harry's, like, barely in the dormitory door when his scar sears with pain. He can hear Voldemort's triumphant laughter. Jubilant, ecstatic, triumphant. He's like, cackling. Whoops, I'm cackling like a mad person. And then Ron slaps him out of it like a good boy. I give everyone permission to slap me out of it when need be. Well, that's the end of the chapter. Fawna, do you have any last words, any final reflections, anything you want to circle back to?
Just in regards to the occlumency and everything, in regard, kind of like what I've done in the other episodes and how it's like relatable to like actual witchcraft and people in general. Like, there are things that you can do to either read a room and tell what someone's intentions or energy may be. Like, you can definitely walk into a room and definitely see the writing on the wall or feel the elephant, essentially. And just subtle things, like, it could seem like a power if you really pay attention to detail. And that's essentially what the Legos. Yeah, the Legos. Yeah, so essentially what that is, because he even said it's not reading the mind, it's essentially like pulling in the pieces. And we do that on a daily basis, pulling in the pieces and figuring things out with context clues. And the same thing on the other end for the occlumency. You need to strengthen yourself. You need to be self-aware. You need to not exert or allow to you take in too much energy or allow to the reverse, allow other people to take it from you, sort of thing. And it is something that's actually a big topic, especially for a lot of new people and even just everyone, a lot of people in the witchcraft and occult and spiritual communities. It's like being in tune with yourself and not letting other people suck your energy out for various reasons, accidentally or on purpose, or you accidentally doing the reverse or allowing them or doing it yourself. So that is something that is talked about all the time. I see literally posts about it every day on like forums and stuff. So it is a legitimate thing that people worry about.
That's what I'm getting about like most of the magic we talk about on this podcast is like, yeah, this concept exists, but Harry Potter's just like making it really literal and like oversimplifying it. Makes sense though for a children's book. It's like you draw magic from things that make sense, you know, kind of like scientifically. Mary Clay, do you have any final thoughts?
Only that, like, ending this chapter, I was like Harry, because it ends with like, and Harry wondered what could make, like what it was that would make Voldemort so happy. And like, I had this exact, because I couldn't remember like what happened. And I was like, oh, that's so true. Like what, like, ooh, what? And then like the first sentence on the next page is like, Harry's question was answered the next day. But, and I'm like, oh, so I have the same like train of thought as Harry Potter right now. Never mind.
That's never a good sign.
So that's him. I don't know. I think also just like, I don't think she did this intentionally because I think that would be too clever of.
You mean Joanne?
Yes, of her. But I really do think it's so telling that like Harry has this interaction with Cho where, just like you were saying, Fawna, like there are these clues, these like things, these pieces that are coming to him, and he needs to like contextualize them and figure and like draw meaning from it. And the fact that he can't do that on the most basic level with Cho, I mean, like he does. It takes him a bit. He's slow at it, you know. I think that's just
He's
such
a dumb,
great,
traumatized teenage boy.
Yeah, I think it's just a great representation for like how poorly he's doing at occlumency, which also is at the same time not his fault because Snape isn't really doing a good job of like. Yeah, he's 15. Also, a part of me is just thinking that maybe like occlumency and legilimency, it's either like you get it or you don't get it, and Harry doesn't get it, and so like how do you teach that to someone, you know?
Even in real life and in regards to having that sort of control, it's you get it, you don't get it, or you need to go to therapy to help with it.
Exactly.
Well
In
said.
practice.
Yeah. Dope. Are you all ready to move on to plugs?
Yup.
Fawna, tell people a little bit about your podcast and where they can find you.
So for those who have not heard me on the past episodes, if you're hoping you're listening to this stuff in order because it's based off book chapters.
Yeah, it's episodic.
My podcast is the Cat's Tea and Witchcraft podcast. It is about real life witchcraft and magic, different religions, different topics on occultism and spiritualism and stuff. Like I mentioned earlier, if it stays and doesn't get cut, because we were jabbering about a bunch of goofy things earlier. Example, this week's episode is going to be on Ouija or Ouija boards or whatever, however you pronounce it and stuff. So just sometimes it's just fun topics, but sometimes they are relevant for other reasons for people figuring their shit out. So I'm on the 5th season, and if you guys are interested in that, you can check that out. You can find me on Instagram at CatsTeaAndWitchcraft, at Twitter at CatsTeaAndWitch, or you can send me an email at catsteaandwitchcraftpodcast@gmail.com. So, yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much. What's something you've been watching or reading or listening to or playing lately you think the listeners of our podcast would enjoy?
I mostly, honestly, only just watch anime most of the time now. I finally invested in Crunchyroll. We're moving away from Funimation. The app is getting worse.
Yeah.
So
I think Sean has Crunchyroll.
we're just doing Crunchyroll now. And I just got a PS5. So I'm replaying some old games and then playing the new games for the PS5 versions. Like I'm replaying Horizon Zero Dawn that I'm going to play Forbidden West, and stuff like that. So I'm working on that.
I'm so excited for you. That's awesome. Tell me how you like the PS5.
Oh, it's good. I like it.
Oh, it's good.
Yeah.
Matt
Matt got his months ago. My dad got his a couple months ago, and I finally got mine.
Hell yeah. That's awesome. Good for you. I'm like, what luxury? Mary Clay, where can people find you on the internet? They already know, but tell them anyway.
I know, I'm all over. I'm there. If you Google me, I'm there. Wow. You can listen to my podcast. That's what I'm talking about. There are new episodes every Tuesday. Right now we are doing, I say we, it's me.
It's all you, baby.
Doing the Lord of the Rings appendices. Yeah, that's wherever you get podcasts and whatnot. And then my recommendation, I have the pleasure of being the first guest post The Last of Us episode 3. So in case someone else hasn't also plugged The Last of Us in the past 2 weeks.
They haven't.
I'm doing that. You gotta watch it.
Sean and I have a problem watching shows that are coming out. We both prefer to only watch shows that have come out.
I get it. I understand that. This is true. Like,
I can't handle the spoiler scaries though, so I'm gonna make him watch it, I think.
Okay, there you go. For those that don't know, The Last of Us is a for lack of it, it's a zombie video game, but it's mostly about it's more about the story than like the video game element. Mm-hmm. And like the zombie element, like just like every other like apocalypse thing, where like it's not about the apocalypse, it's about the people. You know what I mean? Anyway. And HBO Max has adapted it into a TV series with Pedro Pascal as the lead. And oh my god! Anyway, but the most recent episode, they took a big like chance and deviated from the game and did something very different. But it was very effective.
Just from being on the internet,
it was very effective, and it was, I think, the most beautiful like hour of cinema on television to ever exist. So
beautiful. I mean, great.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Thank you so much for sharing.
Yes, it's really beautiful.
I'm cutting you off.
It's okay. I'm going to cry.
I've been your host, Christina. You know where to find me. And this week I would like to plug, I'll plug the show I've been watching lately, Abbott Elementary. I think it's on, is that on Hulu?
Yes. And I think I've also seen that it might also be on Disney Plus, because I think ABC is owned by Disney, right?
Interesting. I think I'm watching it on Hulu.
That's where I'm watching it too.
It's just like, it's like The Office, but about an elementary school. So it's
more whole. No, I saw an interview. I'm hijacking your plug. Where Quinta Brunson, the main writer and who plays Janine, was talking about. That's right. She was talking about this with Adam Scott, who plays Ben on Parks and Rec, and she was saying that she feels like the comparison to The Office, she doesn't like that as much, because The Office is kind of like, it's cringeworthy and like it's so negative.
It's
sometimes.
Like kind of like what I wish The Office was. You know what I mean?
She says she feels it's more like Parks and Rec, where like the characters are like inviting and want you to go on this adventure with them. So
I get that, but it has a lot of things in common with The Office, just objectively, but that's fine.
Did you see that there was a tweet that was like, I want the Eagles to win the Super Bowl just because I think that would be really great for Abbott Elementary.
Nice. Are they in the Super Bowl? I don't know anything.
They are, yes.
Do you want to come watch the Super Bowl at my house?
I don't know what night.
It's
when the Super Bowl is. That was
Yeah.
so dumb. I don't know
Anyway.
when the Super Bowl is, so that was
only time will tell.
super.
Okay, great. So that's the end of the episode, right?
The end.
Oh, no, wait. I forgot to say Fawna. Thank you so much for coming on the restricted section. It's always an absolute pleasure to have you.
Yeah, no problem. I'll see you guys in a year.
Yeah, about 1 year. I'm going to put you on
Probably.
schedule now. And that's the end of the episode.
The end.
Yeah.
Bye.
That's it, potheads. Thanks for listening to the restricted section. This podcast is produced and hosted by me, Christina Kahn. Our theme music was produced by Ryan Kahn. Our logo was designed by Michael Hardison. Please connect with us on Twitter @RestrictedPod, on Instagram @RestrictedSectionPod, on Facebook @RestrictedSectionPod, or in our Facebook group, The Restricted Section Detention Crew. Join our Patreon to get access to our Discord server, our bonus episodes, and other cool perks. We're also very happy to be a member of Deus Ex Media, where all you fucking nerds can find all kinds of fandom podcasts to suit your fancy.
Coffee, tea, honor, cabbage. Long ago, the four elements lived in harmony. Then, shit went totally cray when the Avatar attacked. Only the Cabbage Man, merchant of fine cruciferous vegetables, could stand against his trolling. But when the world needed some dank veg, he vanished. 10 years have passed, and my partner and I have started a new podcast.
My cabbages! An Avatar podcast.
A weekly show about Avatar The Last Airbender. Whether it's Sokka's new line of cologne,
Hey, look at you, sitting there on a seal. Well, now look back at me. I'm on an even bigger seal. Now look away.
D&D related antics,
You have to make an acrobatics check for that, and Aang just like unzips his pants and whips out his d20s. He's just like, I got this.
or randomly breaking into song.
Go bending waterfall.
We'll stumble our way through the greatest show ever made, one episode at a time.
Rotten cabbages? What kind of slum do you think this is?
Oh my gosh, Christina, have you seen the orange cat on TikTok that's gone viral and her name is Penny?
No, what?
Yeah.
Sorry, I yelled.
I'll have to send you one of the TikToks.
Oh, how is Penny?
Penny's doing great. Today she cried until I came to move the bed I bought for her because she likes to sleep on top of the heat.
Mm-hmm.
The heat and vents, and so I bought her a hammock to go over one, but she just cries and cries until I move it so that she can sleep with her face directly on the metal.
We did the same thing for my parents' dog. He also loves to sit on the vent, and we got him exactly one of those little, not a hammock, but like the elevated, like canvas type bed, being like, oh, this is going to be so great for him. He'll love it. He could not care less.
Yep. Well, in my girl chat was talking today about why everyone's electrical bills are so high.
Right?
Which obviously it's because it's dead winter. But I was like, my electricity bill's so high because all my heat blows directly into Penny's asshole and it's not heating my house.